Ladies and gentlemen, the Washington Post issued a massive correction today. Could sound like something different. Correction. Washington Post issues massive correction to report on Trump call to officials that misquoted his comments. Now, this is what numerous outlets do all the time. Journalists do all the time. The recording revealed that the Post misquoted Trump's comments on the call based on information provided by a source. Where are the sources providing this type of information for President Biden? So you have today an article, an op-ed talking about Trump's failures and the difference between Biden and Trump. And all the article could lead, I think it was in The Hill, and it was by, I believe, a Fox News pundit, liberal Fox News pundit. And all the article could muster up in terms of his colossal failures is his handling of the pandemic. And so that ignores the fact that you have 40% of all the lives lost in either New York or California run only by Democratic officials, Democratic governors, senators, dominated by Democrats. 1 out of 5 lives lost are in 2 states. The rebuttal can't be, well, they're the most populous states. Yeah, they're run by Democrats. What does it matter if they're the most populous states? I thought Democrats were far ahead of Trump in terms of, I thought they took it seriously while Trump downplayed it. Why? Okay, 1 out of 5. So they were completely blindsided because Democrats were focused initially on impeaching President Trump. So in the beginning of 2020, they were only obsessed with impeaching Trump because, God forbid, he wanted to investigate how the Bidens got their money, which, by the way, the federal government is doing right now with his son. But 1 out of 5, according to the New York Times, go to the New York Times right now. You can see, go to the aggregate numbers since the beginning of the crisis. 1 out of 5 of all the lives lost in this country of 50 states and 320 million Americans are in 2 states, either California or New York. Then, if you look, 7 of the top 11 account for 40% of the lives lost. Over 200,000 lives out of 500,000 are in 7 Democratic-run states. The top 7 of the top 11 states. We have 50 states, again, 320 million Americans. Democrats have said, oh, he mismanaged, he didn't take it seriously. This is another issue we're not even talking about. So Democrats have had the worst outcomes, and they preside over the highest unemployment rates. Go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So you can go to the New York Times statistics. The top 7 states with the greatest number of lives lost are in Democratic-run states. Go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. You see the highest unemployment rates. The top 13 of the 14 highest unemployment rates are in Democratic-run states, with Democratic governors, blue states. How is all of this Trump's fault? Then you have wonderful experts that were completely never failed to predict everything. And then they say, well, the intelligence community warned him. Well, why didn't the intelligence community leak the information like they leaked the Steele dossier? Why didn't Bob Woodward notify the country that President Trump was keeping this secret? I mean, you use basic logic. Trump presided over all of these problems. Yes, so did the experts that are now being championed as heroes. How are you a hero if you work for Trump's administration as an expert? Okay, if you're a doctor that everyone worships now, one doctor out of 320 million Americans, you presided over everything also. You even said things that were wrong in the beginning. And then you were given the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, that's just for the crisis. That's just for the crisis. But here, the quote, the recording, this is from the actual, and hit subscribe right now to this channel. We're on our way back, although we're fluctuating again between 180 and 181 subs. But let's get to 200,000. I'm working on something really special. You'll love it. Be here for the live stream this evening. But the recording revealed that the Post misquoted. And you can, by the way, you can read my writing at The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, the Daily Caller, other publications, and you can see my debates on hagoodman.com. To my new Patreons, thank you so very, very much. The recording revealed that the Post misquoted Trump's comments on the call based on information provided by a source. Trump did not tell investigators, two fabricated quotes. That, like, they literally fabricated quotes. That, by the way, when you think about it, it's interesting. Like, what are the chances that the intelligence agencies, intel operatives, and all of Hollywood would be on the right side of history? Just think about that for a second. When people tell you you're on the wrong side of history for liking Trump, well, what are the chances that Hollywood, the epicenter of immorality and criminal behavior in the world, one of the leading industries, or one of the places that if you knew the skeletons, if you just knew just what we know from the skeletons in Hollywood, I'm talking about, sometimes literally just what we know from the skeletons of these people who are serve as the moral foundation against Trump. I mean, could you imagine if we actually found out exactly all of just the immoral conduct and behavior and sentiments and, incidents that is just swept under the rug? Okay, you have Hollywood and then the intelligence operatives and the intel community that hasn't been right. Gulf of Tonkin, wrong. Bay of Pigs, wrong. Sorry, the Bay of Pigs, the Gulf of Tonkin, both catastrophes. The Gulf of Tonkin was a catastrophe that led to 58,000 Americans losing their lives, and millions of others losing their lives in Vietnam. Then you had WMD. You can fast forward, between those 30 years or so, or 40 years, WMD. Now you have Facebook ads. When have the intelligence agencies been right about anything? But here, we can just continue. Trump urged the investigators scrutinize, in the county, asserting she would find dishonesty there. He also told her that she had the most important job in the country. A story about the recording can be found here. The headline and text of the story has been corrected to remove quotes misattributed to Trump. Well, that's good. Now everyone on the planet thinks that Trump stated quotes he didn't state. You got all the mileage possible. And then what Democrats do is they 92% negative media coverage, followed up with polls. And the polls say that people don't like Trump. Well, yeah, they're besieged by only negative news coverage. What do you expect? You could do the same thing. You could do like this case study, like a winning team, baseball team, going into the playoffs, but all they have is negative coverage. You say, well, the average fan is disappointed, thinks that they should have won more games. Instead of, and then you replace that negative coverage with, oh my goodness, what a team, what a great year. Of course, many fans would, the coverage, the persona or the image of the team would change among fans. People are influenced by, and this is a testament to, even though President Trump shouldn't have stated things that he said on Twitter, because unfortunately in this world, all the good things that record low unemployment throughout most of his tenure, it's not his fault that Democrats tanked their states because of science. The states that had the least draconian responses had the best outcomes and the best economies in the country. The lowest economies, the lowest unemployment rates are in red states. Go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics right now. But you look at this country, this world is run by, unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say this world. This country, and especially the UK, we're run by public relations and media. that's a testament to 74 million Americans who still voted for President Trump. Imagine if you didn't have all of media, all of the intelligence operatives, all of Hollywood, all of late night, all of the music industry, everybody pushing lies about Trump. And you have the Washington Post making a correction today. I mean, my God, could you imagine if they just accurately reported on Biden? Could you imagine if they didn't try to prop him up? So when they say, well, people like his handling better of the pandemic. Yeah, the shot in the arm everyone's getting, that was developed under Trump's administration when they said he wouldn't be able to. So his warp speed worked. Then Kamala Harris stated, yeah, I don't trust Trump's shot in the arm. Speaking algorithmically friendly. And even that sometimes doesn't work. Democrats were the when it came to that, when it was Trump. Now it's, oh my God, okay, well, yeah, fine. I'm going to take it. You're going to take it. But you have constantly always a changing media narrative depending on whether or not it suits one political party, the Democratic Party. You have people believing, people who have never been, my channel, it's close to 200,000 subs. It's not tiny, but it's growing. It's most people don't watch this channel. They don't really watch channels that will help you decipher what's going on, and they just watch MSNBC and CNN, and they read the Washington Post and the New York Times, and their response to this is, well, you know what? He's horrible anyway. So what does it matter if he's so bad? This is the apoplectic, morally superior, wonderful liberal Democrats' response. He's so bad. Who cares if he was misquoted? He's just so bad. He's so horrible. He's so horrible. Who cares if he was misquoted? And it's well, it's yeah, that's why you think that's a large, one of the most important reasons people think that Trump is such a horrible monster is because he's constantly misquoted. They misquoted him deliberately based on a source. Why would you misquote somebody in an audio before even listening to the entire audio just because a source heard the audio? Does that make any sense? How on earth is this journalism? The Washington Post lost a case to Nicholas Sandmann because of this very type of thing. They just, look, you might as well have Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Tom Perez and everyone at the Democratic Party working at the Washington Post. It's not even that's not hyperbole. It is hyperbole to say Trump is a despot. That's hyperbole. He's not a despot. Despots don't sign prison reform legislation and remove Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, which Biden, May 1st, 2021, we're supposed to leave and end our involvement completely. We already negotiated a deal to remove Americans under Trump. And even Bernie Sanders was against it. He was like, oh, that has to be an orderly withdrawal. An orderly withdrawal. What, you're lining up for the cafeteria in middle school? What an orderly withdrawal. To leave the cafeteria, whatever. Even Bernie, that's the only reason I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. Why? Because I thought that Bernie Sanders would provide an alternative to never-ending military conflict and quagmires. He didn't. He was just a tool of the Democratic Party. He was even against what President Trump did as a president, his accomplishments, what he represented, the good things, he never emboldened horrible people. Okay? He said things that shouldn't have been said. Those horrible people existed. And if a horrible person utilized, Trump to foment any horrendous viewpoint, that viewpoint existed prior to Trump. Those people marched prior to Trump. Those people were horrible people prior to Trump. If they latch on to, and you can make the, you think, I'm not even getting into it, but I don't think they voted for a president who allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever. Furthermore, President Trump continually condemned, even in the C-SPAN article, condemned the 1930s and 1940s Germans. Let's see. President Trump signed an executive order combating anti-Semitism on college campuses. Pretty much everything that you've heard about Trump has been a lie. And today actually proves it. I mean, like, literally every single thing you've heard about this man has been a lie. Has he made missteps? Sure. Is he as bad as people think? Did he get us into a never-ending quagmire? No. Did he break into a building? No. That was Watergate. What did this man do? Aside from be orange and, belligerent towards the media because the media was after him, helped set him up with the intelligence operatives. He never worked with Russia. So what do you want the man to do? Just accept it? If you were wrongfully accused, would you just say, okay, you know what? Well, that's fine. I'm sorry. You should never, if you're wrongfully accused, you fight peacefully and legally. Legally and peacefully. This was just a way of explaining something physically to emphasize the words of peace. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. They misquoted President Trump yet again. Give me your thoughts. Thank you so very much.